Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, the podcast. You are here, and my voice is not. Just came back from a wedding. It was a great time, but we're dealing with little voice troubles. That's okay, though. It doesn't hurt, so that means we can still talk as best we can. And we got stuff to talk about, because MLB The Show and SDS did a good thing. They did. And we talk about the good things just like we talk about the bad things. Coming off a week that featured maybe the worst content drop either in MLB The Show history or at least the past 5 years, something like that. Last Friday's content drop, or, a few days ago's content drop, kicked butt. So in this episode of the show, the podcast, we're going to talk about it. Let's do it. How's everybody doing? Hello, hello. Of course, you know what? I was going to start with the summer stuff, but let's start with Ted Williams. Let's start there. Comment down below. Do you have Ted Williams yet? Comment down below. Do you have him? I was able to unlock Ted Williams fairly easily. Also, shout out to my new co-host on the show, the podcast. If you're listening, you have no idea what I'm pointing at. If you're watching, yes, that is a 6-foot-tall standee of the Green Ranger from 1994 that I bought the other day. That's in pristine condition. I picked it up myself in person, so it didn't have to be shipped. It's incredible. That's my new co-host. He'll be in the background of every video. Neither here nor there. I was very surprised that Ted Williams was affordable as he was, at least in relation to Scott Rowland's collection. It seemed like if you had the Scott Rowland collection, you really didn't need like a ton else to get Ted Williams. A couple hurdles, of course, would be the All-Star collection if you chose to do that. I actually thought it was more reasonable than I thought it was going to be. So I used that as one of my vouchers. If you listened to my advice and got ahead of the game on awards cards and milestone cards, those were clearly going to be collection vouchers, just based on when they started dropping more cards of that type, or of those types. And, the unfortunate kind of scummy thing, we're going to say this was a good content drop, but the thing I don't love is that the day of a new collection, they also drop a new mini collection, the Summer Series, which we'll talk about. That, of course, is its own voucher, making it therefore harder to skip one of the things to get Ted, because that's a brand new thing, brand new piece of content. Either way, this Ted Williams card is remarkably good. The two things I was most worried about were, what was his fielding going to look like? Because, do you want him in outfield or do you want to DH him? And then his speed, because those two things kind of go hand in hand. I'm not looking for Ted Williams to have 90 speed, so don't be confused by that. I just need it to be playable outfield speed. So he comes off rip with 80 fielding, 68 speed. That's good enough for me in left field. 76 reaction, 78 arm. Not great, but certainly good enough. And let's be honest, he is going to do more than enough damage for you at the plate to make up for whatever occasional defensive miscues he has. But at P5, which, let's be honest, most people who get Ted will be getting him to P5 at some point. Take your time, but at some point you'll get there. He's going to have 85 fielding. Wowee. 83 arm, 79 accuracy, 81 reaction, and 73 speed. Along with max vision. That makes me so happy. Max contact versus right, contact versus left, or power versus right, rather, excuse me. Max all those, and then 105 power left. I mean, this card is a friggin' monster. An absolute beast. So, happy with the voucher situation, man, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like I said, I ended up doing all of them except the Summer Series, because the All-Star collection, where's the All-Star? Right there. So, for Scott Rowland, you needed 31, and that was a lot. For Ted, you only needed 14 more. And over the course of, the last 4 or 5 weeks, they've dropped enough affordable ones. I know a lot of them are chase cards. I don't like it either. Devers is a chase card. Dawson was BR. Jordan was a chase card. Utley was a chase card, but cheap enough by the time I was doing it. He says 86 now. I got him for like 45. Gagne was a collection reward. That doesn't count. Not collection reward. XP reward. Sorry. Pedro Martinez, World Series. Felix Bautista, Chase. Acuna, Chase. The fact that Nolan Ryan, Jeter, and Hank Greenberg were all on the XP path was very helpful. Free Ted Williams in the shop. Very helpful. Diamond Quest. What is Bob Feller? Multiplayer program. Piazza multiplayer program. Like, as much as the All-Star Collection's a little ridiculous with all of the chase cards, they did a good job of supplementing it with easily attainable, free to cheap cards. So shout out to them for realizing that. The standout was another one I was worried about, but I ended up having just enough, because I had unlocked Outlighter. I thought you'd have to get all but one. You needed all but two. And again, all of these get easier as time goes on, too. So if you're a couple away, you don't necessarily have to save stubs for somebody. Maybe within the next week, there's a standout headliner. I don't know. All the other ones were pretty straightforward. Milestone and awards, again, were the ones that you had to pay attention to. I sold Grady Sizemore, even though I had him from Weekend Classic, because his price just shot up once people realized you needed Milestone. And you get them for free in the next Weekend Classic as a rewind. So, not worried about that. Grady is good for me. He's not a starter, but he is good. And awards, you needed 4 of them. So I have Eckersley in the bullpen. That's why I didn't get rid of him yet, but that is just 98K sitting there. And Jonah Heim I sold pretty instantly for 85K because he will be basically free soon because the BR Rewind pack you're going to get. So all good, man. Very happy with this. So that's the first good thing SDS did, was made this collection more attainable. Scott Rowland was so expensive and difficult to obtain, which is not necessarily a complaint, but to get the first one out of the way as a difficult one and then to make it just a little easier as we're progressing, I like that. I'm a fan of the progression of doing that. Another thing they did, so they actually did 2 specific things that we harped on in both podcasts last week. I was joking with Nutsy, like, hey, they listened to the podcast. They took our advice and they made the literal changes we were talking about. That is not actually what happened. I do know sometimes the fine folks at SDS listen to the podcast, so shout out to you guys, SDS. Hello. But there's no way you can make that type of turnaround to what they enacted into the game within 3 days. If they did, I'd be stunned, and even larger shout outs to SDS. But we complained about packs. I might have even been with the other group of guys, Scan, Julian, and Drew. We talked about packs, how it's not that odds are the problem, but the fact that you could pull a 90-plus diamond and you get the blue lights and it's pipeline past Anthony Rendon instead of Fernando Tatis, that technically counts as a high diamond pull, but it's 12,000 stubs instead of 180,000. So they took those promo cards you can get in standard packs and they put them into the equipment slot on occasion instead. This way, every other card you pull is live series. That's going to be huge for the market, guys. That is going to bring prices down. It's going to take a little bit. But in theory, you will be pulling more high diamond live series cards because of this change. It's not going to flood the market, but in theory, those prices will begin to come down. I hope. I don't think I'm wrong on that. I'm not expecting them to plummet, but they're going to start coming down a little bit. So that's very, very good. The second thing they did. This was a massive one. And I really did not think this was going to change. They heard the feedback from previous collections, mini collections, that you had to have the chase or special insert card to complete it. Well, in the summer series, you don't need that. They dropped enough content, in other places that if you don't want to, purchase chase card Willie Mays, who's all right, again, 5-tool players in the power creep model suffer until we're at 99s because you could just jack them up for whatever. But Willie Mays is fine. Or special insert Jackson Holiday, who is all right. If you don't want to spend stubs on either of those, you can just go play a mini season, get the cards there, and do the free stuff. And you could do this. So, big fan of that change. They made it a point to literally say, we've heard your feedback. The past 2 mini collections, you have needed to have a special insert or a chase. Not this time. You don't need it this time. I appreciated the transparency of it. Instead of just dropping it this way and letting us figure that out, they said, listen, we heard you guys. You guys, maybe you don't care when I say it, but I will reiterate this point. a million times. People who say SDS doesn't listen are wrong. SDS is actually very, very in tune with listening to the community. Sometimes not everything we complain about or provide criticism of can be fixed or can be changed. They have directives from other places, but that doesn't mean they're not listening. So this is an instance in which they listened and made an effective change, and a quick one. So shout out. And the other thing that they did with this program that I appreciated was that the worst card is a 90. Literally the week before, we were getting 87 Jonathan India, and we were like, in no world, in the power creep in June, should we be getting 87s, 88s, 89s? So many more of these cards are useful in some capacity. Friday's content drop really changed my lineup up, and we'll talk about that at the end. Because as you guys can see, I don't have Adley yet. I'm very close. I'm about halfway through the mini season. Like I said, I was away this weekend. And when I have Adley, that's even more of a change. So, big fan. We're going to go through all these cards, not necessarily review every single one of them. I'm just going to tell you the ones I think are worth your time. But there's more than the last drop, and that's a positive. This Camilo Doval, excuse me. Listen, he's a 3-pitch pitcher, so he's not going to be for everybody. I have him in my bullpen for now, or he might be like on the bullpen shuttle. Like he's one of those guys who might pop in and out. It's tougher to use 3-pitch guys when you start playing better competition, Hall of Fame and above. But I like Doval. He's got an outlier cutter, and his sinker is so much slower than that it really, really is effective. You just got to hit your spots. So I like Doval. Listen, bullpen help is never going to be something that upsets me. Always going to like that. Michael Toglia is fun, but not a competitive card for online play. He's a BR events guy. Paul DeYoung, same thing, but at least built appropriately. Like, let's talk about this card. Like, he is Paul DeYoung. He's built appropriately. Perdomo has a good swing, and other than the contact left, he's really not much of anything. All right, so let's start talking about some, like, sneaky useful cards. I might get flamed for this. I don't care. Brandon Marsh's swing, coupled with his actually pretty decent fielding reaction speed, he is a fun budget center fielder. And I mean budget. If you are new to hopping on, if it's been a minute since you played, if you're just trying to switch it up, Brandon Marsh has a really fun swing. Am I advocating for him to be your starter on, like, your endgame God squad? Clearly not. But he does a little bit of everything. He's got enough clutch to bring that contact versus left up. The vision at 50 is really what screws him. He's going to be an all-star and below type of card, which is not a slight to you or Brandon Marsh's card. It's just a situation. But he's fun. Truly is fun. Robles, kind of stinky caca. Spencer Steer, a fun, balanced card. His fielding's really bad, but his speed is pretty good. You're playing him at first base or DH. You're not playing him at second, maybe third. You might be able to get away with third. The only thing that would have made this card like, oh, I might even use him on my God squad, because I like Spencer Steer's swing. The 83 contact versus right is really tough. If we had, like, both contacts in that 95 range, take away some of that 98 durability, that's clearly a lie, and do that, now we're talking about a really, really good card. But that's the difference, right? For me, the way I value cards, that's the difference. If you could take away 7 durability points and put that 7 right back into contact right, which is probably not exactly how the rating algorithm works, but just humor me. If you could do that, we're talking about a really good, fun, useful card. Against lefties, that don't matter. He's okay. I just like a balanced guy. If I'm going to start someone, they need to be balanced. Spencer Steer is still pretty fun, though. McCullers, I am interested to hear what you all say if you have pitched McCullers yet. McCullers, in my experience, has kind of a delivery that's tough to pick up. Sinker cutter, of course. He's got the slider and knuckle curve, which I do think knuckle curves are better this year. You guys have heard me say that before. And the circle change, which is always helpful. The problem is his controls are really scary. But his breaks are phenomenal. Like, we're talking A to A+ break on every single pitch. Have you guys used McCullers? Let me know. Pitchers in the power creep, especially in these drops, are going to tend to be more useful than most of the hitters. Pitchers usually have a little more going for them. I like everything here but the controls. So tell me. You guys let me know if McCullers is worth your time. Chris Bassett is somebody I am considering giving a go on the channel. We'll see. He might be Thursday's video. Kind of on the fence still. Controls are much better than McCullers. Breaks, honestly, not much worse than McCullers. Only the cutter is not great. And even the cutter is fine. I'm kind of interested in it. Like, quirk-wise, we got nothing, which sucks. Velo is not incredible, so that's, you gotta, some players, no matter what type of pitcher you're using, if they don't throw fast, they'll fucking kill them. You gotta just be mindful of your opponent. But I like Chris Bassett. I think he's useful. Jeremy Pena, he's all right. A few years ago during the World Baseball Classic content, what was the name of the series? The new series they dropped that was just the player's face. Jeremy Pena had a card. It was like the first TA drop. It's going to bother me that I can't remember. If you guys remember the name of that series, put it in the comments. That Jeremy Pena, I was a big fan of. He was my starting shortstop for like several weeks. This Pena is good. Again, I would love to have just a little bit more contact right. The powers are in a good place for a Jeremy Pena card. The Vision 83 is more than enough. The clutch, a little upset about that, but, splitting hairs. The defense is good. The speed is obviously the speed. There's a fun card. There's a budget shortstop that I would not be surprised if I saw online sporadically. Chili Davis is built wonderfully. Chef's kiss to the person who built Chili Davis. A switch hitter with contacts that are both higher than the powers. Vision of 83, which is fine at this point. Clutch that's higher than both contacts, even though it's just a little bit. And really, you're DHing him. You're not playing him in the field anyway, so I don't give a shit about his fielding or speed. The speed for base running. I shouldn't say that. The speed on the bases is important, so 62 speed is fine. But the fielding, I don't care about. This is a fun card. If I didn't have, like, all the other stacked juicy cards, Chili Davis would legitimately be in my DH conversation. It is a fun card that you can get for the ripe old price of, if you put in a buy order, 9,800 stubs. That is dirt cheap. Great card. For what he is. Great card for what he is. Ke'Bryan Hayes, actually shockingly kind of fun. Is he perfect? Absolutely not. But really, a better Ke'Bryan Hayes offensive card than I thought I'd ever see. Carlos Pena, he is what he is, but he's got a great swing. If you guys don't know that, because most people have never used Carlos Pena cards that much, he's got a great swing. Griffin Jax, another guy who's going to be in bullpens. The controls are really strong. The pitch break's mostly okay. I wish the sinker broke a little more. Splitting hairs. Fun card. He will be in bullpens, and again, he is 10K. Pretty cheap. Peter Fairbanks, working my way through mini seasons to get him. Don't use him. He stinks. If he had a sinker, we could have that conversation. He doesn't even have outlier, so he is just a bad card, but that's okay. Eddie Murray, very fun card. It's unfortunate his defense is low as it is, but it is first base. Not hugely important. The power left is just, I need a tick more, but a fun, well-balanced, well-built card. Jackson Holiday, for his price of 70K, is not worth it. Sandy Alcantara, great controls, really good. I mean, max break on his first 3 pitches. The slider and the 12-6 have awful break. He is such a hittable pitcher for some reason, though. His delivery is just very easy to read. His build has nothing to do with me saying don't use him, but don't use him. He's built well. This is a well-built card. It's just the way his delivery is mo-capped, very easy to read. That's my pro advice, if I could call it that. Matt Strahm, going to be in just about every bullpen. He is 30K because he is good. He is worth, and he is technically a rare round, but he's good. I've yet to play DQ. That'll be easy breezy for me. I might just buy these cards at some point, but Sonny Gray, tough to pick up delivery. Leaves a lot else to be desired. Like that sinker at 70 break is really bad. And someone's going to have to remind me or educate me. 60 break on a 4-seamer. Is that bad or does that not matter? Does it prevent the riding that the fastball usually gets? Either way, Sonny Gray is fine. Not special, but he's okay. Ryan Ludwig is good. There's a DH. A Diamond Quest card that's actually really useful. 82 vision, 103 clutch, which is higher than both contacts. Not max power, but at P5 max power versus left. And a good swing. People don't know that Ryan Ludwig's got a nice swing. Like, truly. So fun card, man. Fun, free card if you play Diamond Quest. And a starting DH for you if you need one. Jose Altuve, I think he's going to be my second baseman, man. And it scares me because he can't field and he's got a tiny little strike zone. But really good clutch, 93 vision, higher contacts than power, and he usually has decent pop on his cards anyway. So excited to try this card out. We'll see. You guys know if you are loyal watchers. Thank you. Second base has just been a revolving door for me. I have had no luck finding someone to stick for me at second base. Just a collection of me doing poorly with guys, and I do still think that second base is one of the weaker content positions right now. I think they could do a better job of giving us more options there. But Altuve for now is good, so I'm going to give him a try. Nick Castellanos, he's a DH for a lot of people, or at the very least, he's a bat off the bench because he crushes lefties. He's Ryan Ludwig, but a little better in my opinion, because I would rather have the higher contact versus left than the higher power versus left. That's just my personal preference. So Nick Castellanos, we know what he is. He's great. Aaron Bummer. So here's something controversial. A lot of people are excited for Aaron Bummer. I'm not. 98 hits per nine as a lefty specialist for me simply is not high enough. The K per nine is great. The clutch 103 is, even at this point, I want that higher. I want close to max clutch. Matt Strahm, in my opinion, is several steps ahead of Aaron Bummer. I'm not using Bummer in my God Squad bullpen. He does have the pitch mix. He does have the delivery. He's got those things going for him. I'm just not a fan of the 98 hits per nine. That's not for me. The controls are okay. The breaks are fine. We have the pickoff artist quirk, which is essentially useless, but otherwise, road and day player. Jarren Duran is my new left fielder. I'm a big fan of his swing. His swing is lightning quick. 75 vision's okay. It's not great. Clutch is equal to the contact right and higher than the contact left. Fielding, reaction, speed, he can swipe bags. I am a big fan of his swing. I'm using Jarren Duran. As I said, this Willie Mays is, for a 5-tool player, he has to sacrifice some offense. He's a balanced card, though. It's not a bad card. It's just for the price of 100,000 stubs, there are better options. And then this Adley is probably going to be my catcher. Listen, Carlos Santana, as good as he is versus lefties, I struggle with Carlos Santana sometimes. I go through ice-cold spells. I'll be red hot or ice cold. And right now I'm in the middle of a dreadfully cold stretch. So I'm looking for something else. Plus, Adley might sacrifice a little offense, but his defense is going to be so much better. I'm kind of surprised he doesn't have pop time, but he's got bad ball hitter, which is a really good quirk. I'm excited for Adley. Let's put it at that. I'm excited for Adley. So good content drop, man. Really good content drop. Big fan of the content drop. And all I ask is for big content drops to change my team, and it's going to. So let me show you. I have Duran now in left field. I will have Altuve at second, though Semien has been playing better. Not great, but better. I will have Adley catching. That might be an influx situation based on how I do with him, but we'll see. I have Ted at DH. So that's cool. There was a world where I almost went to, who was going to play right field for me? It wasn't Bryce. Who was it? Right field is kind of an open position for me still. Might have been Corbin Carroll. I might go back to him. Bryce, I'm doing not great with. 282 for me is not an awesome average. He has 20 hits and 12 of them are dingers, so he's hitting the ball over the fence. I just need him to get on base more. I'm struggling with him lefty-lefty, and lefty-lefty is usually not a huge problem for me. I'm not phenomenal lefty-lefty, but I usually don't get carved up by it. It's just been a struggle with Bryce. We'll get there. So Ted DHing is awesome. The bench I have not looked to reassess yet, so don't really mind too much of this bench. I'm going to look at that once I get Altuve and Adley. Starting pitching really has not changed. And then bullpen. 3 new pieces of the bullpen. Strahm, Doval, Jax. That's all I asked for, man, is for content to change my team up. And it did. So, an A- to an A content day. That's awesome. That's awesome. Free playable content with a mini season. The only thing I wish they would do is make mini-season rewards sellable for people like me who don't necessarily want to grind a mini-season. I'm willing to do it, clearly. I don't want to. But they've put decent rewards in mini-seasons. Like Tony Gwynn, you guys know, was my right fielder for a little bit. Altuve might be my second baseman. They've done a good job with putting good cards in there, at least. So thank God for that. But yeah, that's where we're at. Good content drop. Now we need to keep the momentum going. Don't stop. There's a big next month or so, right? The All-Star game's in like a month or 5 weeks is a big time of the game cycle. We got to churn and burn. We got to keep it going. I don't know if I'm confident they will, but this is a good first step as long as this was intentional. If this was a happy accident, we're in trouble. But if this was intentionally done, we're good. We're making progress. So that's where I'm at. And that's going to be this episode. I'm going to go drink some water and rest my voice. Hopefully tomorrow when I record Thursday and Friday's videos, I'll be feeling a little better with my voice. So thank you guys for dealing with it. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for making it to the end. Love you guys. See you next time.